In this video, I'll talk about Rune Puzzles for Roll20. This is a great add-on for your players who like word games. It costs about $5 on the Roll20 Marketplace, and the beauty of it is this is system agnostic, meaning you can use it in D&D, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu, or even sci-fi games like Traveler or Starfinder. You can use the runes to ward an arcane chamber or seal the library of a lost, super advanced civilization. Whatever floats your boat. Alright, let's take a look. The basic premise is you start out with a sequence of runes, which can be translated using the included hint cards. So, the players will need to find these hint cards along their travels in the backs of books, scrawled on the backs of maps, in an arcane laboratory, wherever it happens to be, so they'll be able to translate those runes using the hint into a short phrase. So this runic message is actually set up as a rollable token, so we can change the side from the runic message to the short phrase. But the short phrase is not the answer itself. It's actually an anagram of the solution. So your players may get excited when they translate these runes, only to find out that nothing happens. And that's because they still need to unscramble the anagram. And the capital letters that appear in the translated phrase give a hint on what the first letter or letters of the solution are. So in this example, had her rat, there are two uppercase letters, so that means that the answer is two words, and one of those words begins with an H and the other one begins with an E. So your players will need to do some work to unscramble the phrase, and that turns into hard earth. And hard earth is stone. So the players will need to do something with stone. You can choose to have them just need to say the word stone and then the door unlocks, or whatever it is, or they may need to actually press a piece of stone against the runes in order to do something. Again, totally up to you in this situation. But I really like this rune to anagram solution approach because it makes it more than just a simple cipher. Plus, players can't just magically bypass the puzzle. So somebody who has spells like comprehend languages, or maybe they have eyes of the rune keeper, they're going to have a leg up on the situation. They'll be able to go right from the rune phase to the short phrase phase, but they can't get straight to the solution. Now, the add-on comes with this puzzle already set up, but there are actually 29 more. So to swap out a puzzle, what you do is go over to the Collection tab, and down here in the Rollable Tables section are all 30 of the included rune puzzles. So what you want to do is just click on the token for whichever one you want. You'll find where the puzzle landed, and incidentally, you may need to zoom out. I got lucky, this one popped up right here in my field of vision, but I've had this happen before where the rune puzzle actually pops up like in the top corner of the screen or in the bottom, so you may want to zoom out if you can't find it right away. And then just move the puzzle down to where you want it and resize it. Now, if you want the puzzle to sit nicely over the door like this one is, you'll want to set the dimensions to 12 units by 2 units. But you can set these, again, to whatever you want. 12 by 2 looks pretty good. And then you can have your players go through again with the hint cards to figure out what this says, and they can take it from there. Now, the instruction manual that's included with the add-on includes a list of all of the puzzles and their solutions. So you can pick which one of these makes sense for your game and then include it there. So once your players have solved the puzzle, maybe a secret door opens, an item's latent ability activates, whatever tickles your fancy. So for about $5, you get 30 created puzzles, the hints, the instruction manual, and you get 2 pages. You get this runic door that I'm showing right now, and you also get a page where you can create your own runic puzzles. And there are a couple of things you want to keep in mind as you go about making your puzzle. First, remember that you're starting with a solution and then you need to work backwards to an anagram, and then you need to work backwards to a runic phrase. So you don't just start throwing runes on here. You're going to want to spend some time thinking about what your end word will be or end phrase will be, and then you're going to need to find an anagram for it. So I'm going to have a sword in my game that needs to spill giant's blood or have giant's blood applied to it in order for some magical ability to activate. So I've found this anagram maker online, and it's literally just anagrammaker.com. And what I did was I typed in giant blood into the phrase here and then click generate. And now you get a list of all the generated anagrams that you could get out of giant blood. And if you scroll through here, you see there's a whole bunch of, multi-word choices, but I like this one. I think goblin toad works pretty well for this. So that's the runic message I'm going to create. So my players will start out with the runes that will get translated to goblin toad, and then from goblin toad they turn it into giant blood. So now all I need to do is copy the appropriate runes. Just click on them, Control-C, Control-V, and you want to make sure that you actually do that. You copy and paste, that you don't actually drag, because otherwise you're going to lose your rune there. So I'm going to drag my message out, and so I've just fast-forwarded a little bit here, and so this spells out goblin toad in the runes, right? And again, goblin toad is the anagram of giant blood. Okay, so now I need to indicate which of the runic characters will be capitalized. So when we go from runes to goblin toad, I have to indicate which letters are going to be capitalized. And if you look at the hints, any rune that has this underscore beneath it is a capitalized letter. So that's how we're going to indicate which character is capitalized. So I'm going to close these. And for us, giant blood, it's the G and the B, which is in goblin toad here and here. So we're going to grab the underscore character from down here, Control-C that, and then Control-V it underneath the G, and again underneath the B. And there we go. Now we're done. Now I can show this to my players and they can begin trying to translate it. Now, one other thing to keep in mind is that you're getting runes for A through Z and the numbers 1 through 10. And while the hints cover all of the letters, there are no hints with numbers. So you're going to need to create your own. And the other thing to mention is that the instructions don't cover how to handle numbers higher than 10. So like if you think about it in Roman numerals, you have the letter X represents 10, and if you want to do 20, you have 2 X's, 30 is 3 X's, and then when you hit 40, then you start having a different approach for things. You actually use the character for 50 and reduce it. So introducing the number 10 here actually kind of complicates things a little bit, because how do you create 11? Is 11 the 10 plus a 1? Or do we do it some other way? So to keep things simple, I would actually just ignore 10 altogether and then use the rune for 1, just copy and paste it twice, this to indicate the number 11. Because otherwise I think it's going to make it too complicated. All right, so there you go. Quick review this week. I'm going to be throwing this at my players really soon, and I'm really excited about it. They've been asking me for more puzzles, and I think this is going to be a great approach because, like I said, it's actually multiple puzzles in one. You get your translation, and then the anagram, and then they still have to find or use whatever it is that the solution reveals. So it's kind of a 3-part puzzle all in one runic expression. I think that's really exciting, and I think that's going to make for some really fun role-playing opportunities throughout the game. So, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a like and consider subscribing. And until next time, folks, have a great day.